Hi, this is Crystal, and I am off to Shambhala here on YouTube. And I am an eBay seller, and I am making a series of videos about how to do accounting for eBay sellers, especially if you're a beginner. This is a free way to go about it. And it's pretty much gets down to the nitty-gritty of the most important things that you need and will help you at tax time. Like by the end of the year, you're not going to be scrambling having to put information together if you do this every week. And it takes me about 20 minutes. I could probably do it in 10 or 15. But I'm just not one of those kind of people that likes to go super fast all the time. And I just like to take my time and think about things. So I usually take 20 minutes, even a half an hour, because I'll sit there and analyze and go, oh my gosh, I spent all this money. Where did it go? So this is what my spreadsheet looks like. Now, I just want to preface this by saying that when I first started doing eBay, I did not just make this nice little tidy spreadsheet. It was a process for me because, first of all, I've never really been an accountant. Like, 20 years ago, I worked in an office where we did a little bit of accounting, so I have a little bit of familiarity with systems. I've kind of done some little tutorials. Actually, there's one tutorial that I should leave a link to down in the bottom. It's on a website called educationportal.com, and unfortunately, it does cost money, but they have really great classes on there that you can take, and they're so easy. And I've been doing the accounting one, and it's been very enlightening. As a business person, I think that would be very beneficial. And there's all kinds of other classes on there that could be beneficial if you want to be an entrepreneur or whatever. If you're a business, if you are running your own business and you don't know a lot, it's a cheap way to learn, let me tell you. Okay, and then let's get back on track here. That's educationportal.com. That should be another video. But I knew that I wanted to use the spreadsheet, and I tried to set one up, but it just, I don't know, I couldn't zero in on what it needed to look like. And again, I don't know that much about accounting or even using spreadsheets, so I just felt like I was kind of limited. So I picked up this weekly bookkeeping ledger, like an old-fashioned one that you just fill out by hand, and it's got it's all set up for you. And I did another video on that, and I highly recommend that you take a look at that. And if you are totally new to spreadsheets or accounting or anything, I highly recommend you just get one of these old-fashioned ledgers, because it going through the process of doing these ledgers will teach you these components of basic accounting. And then once you learn that, then it makes it easier to see how to set up a spreadsheet from scratch. I mean, we're talking if you are brand spanking new and you don't know anything, I highly recommend the weekly bookkeeping. Even if you're not new and you just don't want to spend money or you don't want to take the time to think, pick up one of these old-fashioned books. Sometimes old-fashioned stuff is the way to go, especially when you're just getting started. So definitely take a look at that video. So this spreadsheet that I made is based on that, because what happened is once I got the book down, I realized that a lot of this information could be automatically figured out in a spreadsheet. And so that's how I designed this. And I think it's very simple and to the point. And it has all the important things. So that's what this is based on. And starting in January, I was going to get like a QuickBooks program or something, but I'm just going to use this for 2015. And then in 2016, maybe I will graduate to something more like QuickBooks. I'm sure there are advantages to it, but right now I need to watch my costs. As you can see from my numbers, this was my year-to-date, well, actually right here, my year-to-date net profit is $951.17 since February. I've been doing this since February. Now remember though, I'm doing this part-time, I have to say, very part-time. I have another job and kids, and I really don't worked very hard at this. So, but I really am excited about the numbers that I have done and what I'm seeing as possibilities, and I'm really looking forward to stepping up my game. And I'm hoping to consistently throughout the year 2015 make well between $1,000 and $2,000 a month, if not more. I mean, I think it's possible. But if I could at least do 1,000 to 2,000 consistently through 2015 as a single mother and not having to sacrifice time with my children and all that, you know, working alone, I will be happy. Anyways, so that's enough about that. Let's get started. Let's show you how to use this spreadsheet. If you don't know how to get one of these spreadsheets, I will make another video and I will have a link about that. You have to have a Gmail account. Well, there might be another way to get to Google Drive, but I'm just not sure. I do it through Google Gmail. Okay, so let's get started. Now, this is last week's, and so the first thing I need to do is I need to make a copy. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, so the first thing I do when I come in to my spreadsheet is I make a copy of last week's. And you would right click on the current week and you would it's actually duplicate, not copy. So now here you can see here's my copy. And then I would go and I would change it. Change the name to what I want it to be, which would be week of 10/6 through 12. I'm not going to change it right now though, but that's what I would do first thing. Okay, so let's go back up. Okay, so the second thing I always do is I go in and I change the weekend date. Now the weekend date is 10/12 of 2014, so we put that in there. Now down here, this is where I would put my gross revenue for the week, right? Well, right here. This is for just the week. This is year to date carried over from last week. Technically, all of this information is still last week, so I'm going to take this figure and transfer it over here. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out a good way to automatically make that happen, so this is where I have to do it manually. 635. 7.72. But I'm very used to doing it like this, so it's like you just know what to do. After you do it for 2 or 3 weeks in a row, you'll just know what to do. And you want to do that first before you put this new figure in. Otherwise, you got to look it up somewhere else. You want to do it while you have the information right in front of you. Now, the way I have this organized, just to let you know, I've got these color codings, and they mean something. So this, hold on a second. Okay, so this like flesh color right here, these are the areas that I change consistently. I have to manually go in and enter information in consistently every week. These like rose gold colored cells, I may or may not change. Anything that's white, I do not change. And this helps me to make sure that I'm filling in the right fields, because it's very easy to accidentally put information in the wrong field on these spreadsheets. And then another thing that I do while I'm talking about my coding system is these two numbers should match in the end. See how this is 225.48 and this is negative 225.48? They match. This one's just negative, this one's positive. And the same thing goes to these green ones and these red ones. So if those don't match, then that's a cue to me that I need to check something. Okay, now the less returns, I didn't have any returns. I think that's obvious what that is. So this number just stays the same. This I never have to change, because this is what this is doing is it's adding these two numbers and it's giving me this total, and then this cell is adding these two numbers and that gives me that total. If you're not familiar with how spreadsheets work. If you are familiar, sorry. Sorry you had to go through that. Now, I didn't have any COGS. COGS are cost of goods sold. That's when you go sourcing at a thrift store and you're buying your inventory, that's COGS. So this one was 0, but I still need to go in and change this. So that's going to be negative 1179.99. And then I need to go back over here and make that a 0. Okay, gross profit. I think you can understand what's going on now. Now, of course, my expenses are different than last week, but I need to go in and update this number. 4053.78. And my actual expenses, I'm referring back to my little printouts from PayPal where I have all of these figures figured out. Well, actually, I don't have the total shipping on there. I have that in my ledger, so I'm going to have to account for that when I get rid of my ledger. Okay. So this is going to be $47.92. Whoops. Okay. So that should be $114.60, but it is not. Where did I go wrong? Oh, I never changed this. Silly me. 162.52. Okay, so that'll automatically change everything else. So now it's all correct. See, look at how awesome spreadsheets are. It just automatically changes everything. This is why I like them, because I'll tell you, after doing those hand-done ledgers, yes, it's a good lesson, and in some ways it's easier if you don't know what you're doing. But you get tired of, once one thing changes, you have to go back and change everything else, and this will automatically do it. So I'm loving my spreadsheet, even though I have to go in and manually put those numbers in. It's so worth it. And plus the savings of the money of not having to buy a program. I love that too. Okay, so let's go down to the expenses, and I'm just going to go through this without talking so you can just see what I'm doing, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Alright, so those are the only numbers that changed. I didn't, in these fleshy colored areas, but my numbers are not matching up. Oh, that's because, oh, you know what changed also is my eBay fees. I didn't have any. So let's go over here. See how that helps me to go, okay, something's not right. And then this should be 0. And now we're a little closer, but we're still a little off. What did I do wrong? Okay, I got total income is $162.52. My expenses were $47.92. So that is correct. And then my contributions, oh, I know what it is I didn't have, also you got to remember to zero out other things. That's where I went wrong. See, I had to zero that out because I didn't actually have any sales taxes for this week. That was last week. So now all my numbers match. So there you go. That's how easy it is. So, okay, stay tuned for another video. It's not necessarily going to be like part 4 or anything, but another video about how to get into Google Drive. If you don't know, that might be helpful for you. And then also, I do eventually plan to have this spreadsheet available to you.